Hello and welcome back to another Spacemen From Pluto review. I'm your host for this episode, James, and joining me for this episode is...
Ben and Christian.
We're going to be running you through the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier that aired just today on Disney+. The second show in these new lineup of MCU shows that they're apparently actually giving some effort to this time. What did we think?
I thought it was alright. I thought it was quite good.
Okay.
I was quite chuffed with it. I actually quite rather enjoyed the Winter Soldier stuff, especially. It was all like a lot of really good character stuff for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I really enjoyed it. And now I kind of just want them to it's their lives. I don't really want the action to happen anymore. I'm not actually interested in this gangland plot. I just want to know. I want to follow Winter Soldier, try and right the wrongs. And I want to see if Falcon can get a mortgage, to be honest.
Will he ever get this bank loan?
Yeah, the Human Torch was denied one, so maybe the Falcon might be able to get one. So, I rather enjoyed it. I thought the Falcon sequence was pretty solid. I really liked that they brought back the MMA fighter. I thought they got the flight suit sequence was a nice little neat idea. I thought it was pleasant. And it's got Kurt Russell's son. And he winked at me at the end. So, come on.
Specifically you, Ben. Specifically you.
Yeah, because Danny, who's not here, by the way, he sends his greetings. He was like, oh, who's that then? And I was like, that's Kurt Russell's son.
He's got a mask on, but I know.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I rather enjoyed it. Way better than the start of WandaVision. I enjoyed it.
What an interesting turn of the tables.
Did you not like it?
I didn't dislike it.
We're never going to agree on anything.
No, I didn't dislike it. I enjoyed it. It was good and it was fine. But my kind of issues with it lie in that, yes, that first sequence was great and the episode kind of peaked there for me. The character stuff's all interesting, but it's when you've got two characters who are the titular characters and they're doing their own things and it's nice, but you're building them each separately. It's like we keep cutting to this, not slow burner, but we cut to this setup, then we cut to this setup and this, and then this, and then this. I'm like, I kind of want something to happen a little bit. It felt like a whole episode of setup, and when we were only getting 6 of them, I'm like, I don't know, it felt a bit fine to me, this first episode.
That's so
I love the characters, it was great to come back to them, but I don't know, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, well, I don't know if it was said before. I just don't remember. I didn't know Falcon had a sister or a family.
No, this hasn't come up before.
And I was like, oh, that's quite cool. That's quite good. And then the Winter Soldier stuff, I really liked personally.
It's interesting.
Because I first thought, it's a mate from the war. I thought maybe it's some guy. I was like, oh no, it's the guy that he's killed. Oh, that's quite good. And he goes on the date. I enjoyed it. It was all good.
It was all good stuff and it was all nice. I was just a bit like it finished. And I went, oh, I wanted more.
Interesting.
What did you think, Christian? What was your general impression of this first episode?
I wasn't. This was one of the shows when it was announced where I was like, I'm not really fully invested in Falcon as a character, and I'm not really fully invested in Bucky as a character. Like I've not disliked them in the films. I don't really have any interest in them or their exploits particularly. So, but I've gone into this and it was a pretty good start. Like I'm enjoying. I actually at first I was a little bit like you, James. It sort of finished and I was kind of like, oh, okay. But I thought about it and I was like, no, you know what? It's nice that they have that. They did it with WandaVision and they're kind of starting to do it with this as well, where they're sort of a little bit playing catch up on characters that maybe haven't got enough explanation or enough of the limelight to sort of build them up as characters that you truly care about. So I'm glad that we are seeing this sort of like this side of Falcon as like. Trying to help out his sister, a family man, and someone who is struggling with his return from the blip because the world has changed in the 5 years that he was gone. And like Ben, I absolutely loved all the Winter Soldier stuff. I loved the therapy scene and the way that was shot backwards and forwards, with the extreme close-ups. And
It's a Wade's Will joke. Sorry. Ruined your flow. Sorry.
Like that, I agree with Ben. Like the whole him checking off people from the list. That could be its thing on its own. I do like that element of it. One thing that I noticed from this episode, I was like, oh, okay. Apparently, not everyone knows who he is. So like when he goes on that date and she's like, oh, how old are you? And he says, oh, 104, and she laughs. And then I can't remember what she says, but she asks him another question. I'm like, oh, it's not like Cap where everyone knows, oh, he was in the war and he got frozen and he's back. People think that Bucky's just this normal guy. That was it. She asked why he was wearing gloves. People don't know who he is, which I'd taken for a given that everyone knew who he was.
I personally quite like that, because I was like,
it makes
why?
sense.
Yeah, why are, like, some of them might be a bit famous. Like, I get why Tony's famous, but that Winter Soldier was just in secret, and he's just a bloke. He's just a soldier. He's not going to be.
And he's also ashamed of his past. He wouldn't publicise it.
Yeah.
Well, he had the long hair and the mask and the on view metal arm for so long. Now that he's like sort of cut his hair, gotten rid of the mask, is sort of hiding that, because he is in this like mandated therapy and making amends stuff. It's nice that we see his human side, and this, like, he is an Avenger, and to us as an audience he is an Avenger, but as far as everyone else is concerned, there's Avengers, and then there's just sort of the guys that help the Avengers. Yeah, I mean, we even get a little bit of that with Falcon in the bank, where the guy goes, I recognise you, and I can't quite place where, and he does a little, like, puts his hands up like wings and flaps, and he's like, Falcon! Yeah, I knew you from somewhere. Cap, anyone saw him, Thor, even when Thor was wandering around in Ragnarok in a jacket and jeans with an umbrella, people were coming over and being like, selfie.
Yeah.
Because that's a face you don't forget.
Or a body.
But speaking of Captain America, how do we feel about the whole way that Sam passed the shield to the museum?
I was a bit confused. I felt a bit of a thought. Everybody's acting like he's dead.
I think he is.
I thought at first when it's Falcon suiting up, I was like, oh, he's died.
The funeral.
Steve's died.
Yeah,
it's a funeral, and I would maybe they'll reveal it. But like the way Falcon's acting, like he can't talk, like I'm sure he's just in a house, isn't he? I don't know.
We don't know.
I get like the world. I thought like the world thinks he's died after the big Thanos fight, and then in secret he's just an old man living off, and maybe Falcon and Bucky know, and the Avengers know where he is. He's in another cabin in the forest, like Thanos and Scarlet and Iron Man. They're all in their cabins. Like, I just thought that's what he is, but then the Falcon's like acting like he's died, and I was like,
I wonder whether they're intentionally misleading us, and there will be the reveal that he's actually alive somewhere. I don't know. I think they want us to think he's dead for now, and maybe he is, maybe he's not.
I don't know. I got the speech he gave. Oh, like he is gone as a symbol, but I was like, personally, he's all right though, isn't he? Because you spoke to him a couple of months ago, and he gave you. I don't know.
I thought they were I thought they were really gearing up to either a flashback or where Sam mentions that he wanted to be Captain America, and the government went, no, we don't like that. You're not our guy for it. I thought that's where it was going, but it turns out he's given it up himself, which I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I get the whole he's not confident and he doesn't feel worthy of it, but when Steve gives you the shield, you take that. It feels almost a bit of a spit in his face to go, I know you chose me, but I don't agree with you.
I think it's just a forced arc, isn't it?
I was gonna say I do quite like this arc of he's a little bit of a background player to the Avengers for a while. Like he cropped up first in
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
God!
No, he popped up in Winter Soldier. He was in Civil War. He was in a section of Ant-Man. We haven't really seen a lot of him as a character, and I think it's nice that they've given him this arc of he is a little bit. He feels like a background player, and he doesn't feel he's got what it takes to step up to the mantle of Cap. And he's sort of looked at the shield and he's like, this feels like someone else's shield because it's Steve's shield, and I don't think I or anyone else have the right to step up and take his shoes because we can't inspire people like he did. So he's handed it to the museum to be put in the Captain America exhibit that we already knew was there. But now I'm interested at the end with them handing it over to US Agent and introducing him as the new Captain America, how this is going to go, because, the reason that Sam handed it over is because he didn't think anyone could replace Steve, and now they've just handed it to this completely unknown, government agent.
But it is Kurt Russell's son, so
it is.
He could pull it off. I felt like I quite enjoyed the whole show because when they're asking Falcon, are you going to step up? What are you going to do now he's gone? And Bucky was like, what are you going to do now? And I was like, it's like they know they're the sidekicks.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you going to do now? Now your hero, your leader is gone. It's like, oh God, my whole identity is being his mate. No, the mate's gone. I kind of enjoy that idea.
I was going to say, because you've got it from both sides. You've got Falcon, who knows who feels he's the sidekick and has now been handed the shield and been like, you're Captain America now because I'm not Captain America anymore. And he's like, I don't know how to be Captain America, so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Bucky, who's spent all this time on a redemption arc to become a hero, but now that Cap's disappeared, they're like, no, you're in mandated therapy. We're only keeping you out of prison because you helped save the world, and we'll forgive you for your crimes as long as you make amends. And like he says in the therapy session, he says that for 90 years he did nothing but fight. He had a brief chance to sit down, and this is the first time he's had to sit and think and do nothing.
Speaking of helping save the world, though, I love there was a moment where someone thanks Sam, the blip gets mentioned, and someone says, "Oh, yeah, no, thanks for bringing us all back." And he goes, "Oh, you're welcome. You didn't do anything. You were blipped as well, mate."
It's like I wonder if it's like when a celebrity gets told there's when Elijah Wood gets told he's Mark Wahlberg or Matt Damon.
Yeah, he's just shrugged off. It's easier to go along with it than correct you.
Oh yeah, of course. I like as well that they're both men out of time, kind of. Falcon's out of sync with the world because he's been gone 5 years and Bucky's been gone kind of, he's an old man. Even that lady's like, you sound like my dad. I thought that element's quite good. I don't know if, I'm kind of curious to see, why don't they like each other? I just thought they did what am I trying to say?
I think they've always had this sort of rivalry, and it's that thing of where there's one person who has two friends, and if the three of them get together, it's all fine. But if that connection leaves the room, the two friends left there
Yeah.
So do you like football? And that friend's now gone. He's not just out the room; he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think there's the element of Sam's reaching out to Bucky because Sam's just a great guy, and I love Sam. He's a really good character, and I'm so glad he's getting a show. And then Bucky is just pushing everyone away because he's like, I'm strong. I mean, it's easy on my own. It's easy to just deal with my problems on my own and not bring other people into it.
Yeah, they're very polar opposites, and that's why it makes for good conflict and stuff.
I'm excited to see them together.
I hope that they don't come together it's not their idea. They don't want to hang out. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I hope I feel like they're gonna end up.
They both accidentally end up on the same mission, bump into each other, and then turns out they're both trying to find the same person and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm hoping it's a case of they find that they're both doing their own investigations into stuff and both find out that Zemo's still about and kicking, and both end up going after him and bumping him into each other like that. That would be a nice way to bring them together, and then develop the rest of it into this sort of modern buddy cop. They like each other, but they don't really. Storyline.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any theories about who this masked guy might be with the super strength?
I first thought it was Wyatt Russell.
I don't know. I know nothing about this character. I haven't seen any theories come up with my own. But I think you could be right. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reveal.
I thought it was like sort of like not another Hydra thing, but I was like, it's got to be someone we know, and there's got to be something more to US Agent. Maybe it's him, and it's not Zemo, is it? It's not going to be him.
No,
so
I don't think it's Zemo.
US Agent is basically doing that thing where he creates problems for himself to solve.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the syndrome.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think you could have hit the nail on the head there, Christian.
But that's where I feel it's going to go. I feel it's going to be like the government have hired and created US Agent on a case of, well, we need someone new to step up to the Captain America plate because bad stuff's happening and we don't have our established set of powerful heroes anymore. And he's stepped up to the plate, knowing full well that he's the one that's caused the problems that requires a new Captain America.
I thought as well that the guy who goes to the gang thingy that hung out with Falcon, I thought at first he was evil because he was pressing Falcon about where Cap is and the moon stuff, and I thought, oh, maybe he's a bad guy looking for Cap to make sure he's dead or something. But then on his own time, he then found the gang. So that's my kind of theory proven wrong.
Speaking of the Cap being on the moon thing, do we think this is a throwaway joke, which it very well could be, or do we think there's even the slightest chance that they're throwing that in because the Inhumans live on the moon?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
See, I thought it was like a throwaway line because I mean, there's the whole spoilers for Ben. I'm gonna say there's a whole section in the Avengers game storyline where of course Cap is on the moon.
Is he on the moon? I thought he was in a space station.
Well, he's in a space station.
Right. Okay.
But
moon. It's a space.
Everything comes back to Star Wars.
Oh my god. No, I could be wrong, but I think that there's like a comic book arc where Cap ends up on the moon trapped or something. So I feel like it's a reference that's not going to go anywhere, but they've thrown it in there so that fans of the comic have been like, ooh.
But here's the thing. Like, I think we have learned our lesson maybe a little bit from WandaVision. Let's not read into every little thing that everyone says. Not every single line and frame has to be a reference to something. Yeah. They might have just gone, oh, let's make a joke about Cap being somewhere that that conspiracy theorists would go about. The moon, sure.
The Super Soldier guy is Mephisto.
I was going to say
who's behind the mask.
I was going to say, but Bucky's therapist is Mephisto.
Obviously. And Red Wing is obviously Mephisto.
Yeah.
I really like how they've done Red Wing, by the way. Like, in Civil War, it was just a drone that he seemed to control, like it was remote control. I like that they seem to have added this AI to it, because in the comics, Red Wing is Falcon's sort of like sidekick as an actual Hawk. Obviously, that's a bit kooky and it wouldn't fit in the MCU, so they've gone, it's a drone, and now they've added a personality to it where he talks to it. I like how they're handling Red Wing.
They haven't given it... It hasn't got a voice yet, has it? It hasn't got a... Okay, so we're going to need a celebrity to come in.
I don't know if they will. Like, I know what you're saying, like, it's very Iron Man with Jarvis and Friday and all that. So they might do. The only thing that I think they probably won't is because it's based off an eagle who doesn't talk in the comics, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
That's a great sequence. Like, that's a really good action sequence.
Oh, it's a stellar action sequence, and it really shows up. Like, because at first when like Falcon enters the plane and starts beating up people, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool, but like I want to see more Falcon like flying around, taking people out. So when they all jumped out in the wingsuits, I was like, oh yes, they've written this perfectly.
Like every time he just falls out of a plane, I can't help but think, what if it just doesn't work?
I thought that's where they were going with it, because they show that these are thruster malfunction, and then he just jumps out and went, oh, it's going to be a thing of that's how this sequence ends. And he tries to fly and it doesn't work, and he has to parachute, and it's like, oh, they got away. Urgh.
Just freaks me out, man. Even when Iron Man does it, I think in the second one,
you gotta love the confidence, though. You gotta love it.
Like, oh, if it doesn't work, man.
Look, let's be honest. They're gonna do it at some point, aren't they?
I liked that Rhodey showed up, that Don Cheadle just
Yeah.
sort of showed up for that little moment and started Sam on his like path, being like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? Why
They
did
should
you
have more
give up the
interactions.
shield?" Yeah,
Yeah, they should do more together. Like, I feel like they could really be like, look, let's, we're both the sidekicks. Let's, learn from that.
No, I do like. I mean, I'm hoping that they don't undo this for Armor Wars, but it does feel like Don Cheadle being the sort of like, like Rhodey being like involved in the army heavily. He's like, well, Iron Man's gone, and I'm really sad that Tony's gone, but we need to step up now because we are Earth's last line of defense. So it feels like he's being like, well, War Machine is the new Iron Man, and so you need to be the new Cap.
That's a cool idea. I like
he'll
that.
probably get there, yeah. I wish he did say, though, like, he taps Falcon on the shoulder and he's like, okay, I'm off to go be in Armor Wars, and he just fucking off. That's what he was there for, wasn't it? Right? Just to kind of
I think it's
keep
just
the memory fresh.
it's another one of them. It's like it helps link this show to the wider universe. It's not. It makes it feel less isolated.
I liked the kind of mentions the worldly aspect of the billions of people just turning up and the effect that has on the housing and the economy and also that and where do people live and stuff.
Things that people really want from a superhero film.
No,
it's good world building.
Honestly,
it absolutely is good world building.
It's such a big thing to not address it.
It's the reason I'm glad that we're getting the TV shows, because like over the 6 hours of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're going to get to explore not just them as characters more than we already have, but like the world post blip. I mean, I loved it when they were like, oh yeah, there's this new, when he points out and he's like, there's this new terrorist group using geotags, and they were basically happier when people were blipped because there was more resources, more space.
They agreed with Thanos.
And I was like, oh, this is a nice thing, because of course not everyone will have been affected badly by the blip. Some people have been like, no, I like this. There's more jobs going. There's more money for people. It's nicer.
So yeah, I did enjoy that kind of the wider aspect, like when Don Cheadle's like the relations between various nations and stuff was kind of, some are falling apart and some are now new enemies and they're once friends and stuff like. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Into that stuff. So yeah, I thought I enjoyed it. Maybe it's because James is like, I want more, and I don't. So
I think that's it.
It's all right. So I was pleasantly surprised.
I also think I will enjoy episode 1 more once we've had all of them and I've got it. Whereas now I'm like, I just want it all. I want to know how it goes. Just give it to me now. But once it's over, and I'm like, okay, so they did that one episode, and then we got this, and then we got that, and it's fine.
It looked like a big action show. It looks like the big action show, doesn't it? So I think it will.
That's one thing I'm happy about. When there was action, it was good.
Yeah, it was very good. So I got a question for you guys then. Because depending on not if we do any more of these, who do you want to have the shield by the end of the show? Do you want it to be Falcon or Bucky? I want Bucky to have it. That's just my preference. I think he's his mate originally first, and I always kind of see it as like it's to do with like his like penance of what he's done to then become the ultimate for wrong my mistakes, I'm gonna help save everybody else kind of thing. And I thought that's a good idea. Then I realised, that's what they did with Tyrion in Game of Thrones. So I was like, I don't know if I'm right. I just like Bucky more personally.
See, that's why I think I'm happy with either of them, because I like Falcon more. I really enjoy Sam Wilson. I think he's got some nice charm and charisma. He can give out them quips. Yeah. And also, at the end of the day, Steve chose Sam. And I stand with Captain America.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think I am more on the side of Falcon getting it. Purely because I think that Bucky has his own nice arc, and as sort of the Winter Soldier, and I still, he's still got the vibranium arm and stuff. Whereas Sam, A, was given it, B, would be more of a natural leader. Like Bucky, I don't think would fit into that leadership of the Avengers role very well. And also, think about it. He's got wings and a shield. The action sequences are going to be sick.
Well, you've convinced me. I'll give it to you. Yeah,
I'll be
either way,
happy
I'm not.
either way.
I'm happy either way. I just like Bucky a bit more.
Yeah,
So,
that makes
what
sense.
can I say?
One thing I will say is I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they do give it to Bucky under the whole thing of Sam can go as the Falcon, Bucky can't really go as the Winter Soldier because that has the negative connotations, so they let him become the new Captain America.
Interesting, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But again, it's like Bucky's a bit like Cap. It's like he's almost served his time. And
Maybe, I was going to say, does he
should-
want
maybe
to
at the
carry
end-
on?
Yeah, at the end of the show, maybe he just walks away from it all, and Falcon's seemingly got a lot
Until
he
season
has-
2, of course.
Yeah.
So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier, comment down below, let us know. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and just get involved with the conversation. We genuinely love to hear from all of you, whether you like it or whether you don't, whether you agree with us or you think we're chatting absolute shite. Just please talk to us because we're so lonely.
Yeah, we need friends.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, we'll see you for the next review. Bye.
Goodbye.